It's time to gain some business skills to stabilize, secure, and grow your distilling business. Give yourself the edge to go further with the spirits industry-focused knowledge in finance, marketing, and operations from the University of Louisville's online Distilled Spirits Business Certificate. This is the perfect solution for anyone looking for more professional development, and if you ever want to get your MBA, their certificate credits transfer into U of L's online MBA program as elective hours. You can learn more about this online 6-course certificate at ufl.me/bourbon pursuit. Are you looking for great gift ideas this holiday season? Then you need to check out Penelope Bourbon's award-winning 4-grain and barrel strength expressions. Bottled at the historic Castle and Key Distillery, Penelope's balanced flavor profile is the perfect palate pleaser this holiday season. Order both expressions today on sealbox.com and receive free shipping using promo code Penelope Pursuit. That's Penelope Pursuit on sealbox.com. And give the perfect gift this year.
And I don't eat in the morning, so my palate is very clean.
That's true. I've had breakfast with him, and it's very awkward because he's got a plate of nothing.
This is episode 283 of Bourbon Pursuit, the podcast featuring news, reviews, and interviews with people making the bourbon whiskey industry happen. Before we start today's podcast with a Big Barrel Blind, here's your weekly bourbon news update. Jim Beam is offering a one-of-a-kind snow globe experience, which will allow a small group of friends and family to sip a cocktail together in the perfect social distance setting. And Jim Beam will come to your home this season and set up giant snow globes in your yard or driveway, and it includes a licensed bartender to create craft cocktails. All this for the price of $17.95. And that price is there to commemorate the year that the Beam family first distilled bourbon. There's only one available, and it's going to go on sale at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern on December 10th. So if you're catching this podcast right now in the early morning, you might have time. It's going to be going on sale at the Jim Beam e-store. Moving on to bourbon release news. Barrell Craft Spirits has announced its Barrell Bourbon New Year 2021. It's a selection of 5, 9, 10, and 11-year-old straight bourbon whiskeys, which were distilled in 7 different states: Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, New York, Texas, Wyoming, and Colorado. It's bottled at cask strength, which is 113.9 proof, and will have a suggested retail price of $90. Booker's is releasing its 3rd and final batch of 2020 called Pigskin Batch. This is a nod to Booker No's love of American football since he himself was a football player. And I know I've heard plenty of times before about Ryan telling me stories of when Booker would actually be at high school football games there watching Freddie play. Now the proof on this one is 127.3 proof. It has an age statement of 6 years, 7 months, and 7 days, and a suggested retail price of $90. Castle and Key is launching their first whiskey called Restoration Rye. Alongside Restoration Rye, Castle and Key will also release its Roots of Ruin Gin and Sacred Spring Vodka. There are 2 batches in this release as Castle and Key's strategy focuses on creating spirits of consistency of high quality rather than a consistency of flavor. So no whiskey release from Castle and Key will ever taste exactly the same. Now with around 12 to 13,000 bottles in each batch, they will be available for purchase in Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, and Georgia, beginning in December with a retail price of $40. There's also big Pursuit Spirits news this month. We have 6 barrels of Pursuit series that are coming your way. Episodes 35 and 36 are in collaboration with Starlight Distillery, featuring one bourbon that's bottled at 113.6 proof that only yielded 111 bottles, and the second is a bourbon finished in Applejack brandy casks at 117.6 proof. And I know these won't last long, seeing all the praise that Starlight's been getting, and I'm sure you know from back on when they were on the podcast, they know what they're talking about. And they even have their own fan club on Facebook now too. These will be available first to the Patreon community, and you can find them on sealbox.com. Episode 37 is a 10-year Tennessee bourbon headed to spec stores all across Texas. And episode 38 is an 11-year Tennessee bourbon that will be available at select retail locations in Nashville and Chattanooga, Tennessee. Episode 39 is a 4-year Tennessee rye that will only be available at Mulligan's and Elite Liquor stores in Clarksville, Tennessee. Lastly, Pursuit United will be ready in January 2021 on sealbox.com and across Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas, and Georgia. Now, if you listen to our Whiskey Quickies, then You've probably heard me say before that when a barrel bourbon comes out with a new product, it's likely to never be duplicated. And we've explored that with Joe back on episode 164. But this time, Joe puts us to the test. Myself and Ryan, we sampled through around 15 different barrel blends and finishes, while Joe and Fred become our commentators. These are products that have already been released, are to be released, or just experiments in the making. We try them blind to see which ones we like, and even if we can guess some of the blends and the finishes too. If you hear something you may think you like on today's podcast, you should see what's available on barrelbourbon.com. You can have a whole array of products delivered right to your doorstep, and maybe you can give yourself a blind flight too. With that, enjoy today's episode, and here's Fred Minnick with Above the Char.
I'm Fred Minnick, and this is Above the Char. I have a question for you as a listener. How important is the history on the bottle? Do you look at a bottle like, let's say, Peerless, which has like a real history behind it, and think to yourself, that's enticing me to buy? Or do you look at something like Lucky 7 or New Riff, two bottles that don't necessarily have a historic connection to them, and think to yourself, I want to buy that? You see, American whiskey has always had this fascination and connection to history and whiskey. And what we have seen here is we've seen a trend in people kind of bucking that and doing it quite well. Barrel Bourbon, New Riff, Lucky 7, Smoke Wagon, on and on and on. Yet we still see the brands like Boone County and Clyde Mays tap into like historical sections to bring forth into their whiskey. Now, I'm one that I don't necessarily always care about the history. I just want to know if the whiskey's any good. But when there's a really cool story, like with Peerless, or Kentucky Owl, or Nelson's Greenbrier, where the people who own the current distillery or brand actually have a connection to that history, then I think it's pretty cool. But if you're somebody and you just resurrect a trademark from 1852 and you tie your name to it, I don't know if that's the smartest thing in the world. But then again, if your whiskey's really good, I don't care. And that's this week's Above the Char. Hey, if you have an idea for a good holiday Above the Char, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or reach out on my website, Fred Minnick. Go to fredminnick.com. Until next week, cheers. Hey everybody, welcome back to Bourbon Pursuit. We got a special episode for you here today. In fact, it's a barrel showdown. I'm not tasting, my co-hosts Kenny and Ryan are. What are you guys thinking about here now as you're going to select your favorite barrel
can't get
product?
past your Rambo thing you're wearing right now. It's kind of distracting. No,
I'm trying to be like the guy in Dodgeball, the announcer.
on the Ocho.
Yeah, when he's like doing those
ESPN 8. Yeah.
Cotton.
cotton. So
No.
what are you feeling here going into this
I'm
taste?
feeling a little overwhelmed.
I was about
Got
to say this.
15 glasses. I'm excited.
I was about to say, it is overwhelming, but I think this also just goes to show the variability that Barrel is able to bring to a product and to consumers, because everything we're going to taste today they're going to be different, right? I mean, it's not the same as just having single barrels where we know everything's a little bit different, but I mean, these are concoctions, these are some sort of blends that they're doing to try and make something that's really unique for their base here. And I'm excited to be able to taste through these and find one or two or three that we really kind of like above the rest.
Well, I've seen what you're going to be tasting. It's incredible. But you guys do this too. You have your own brand. And like, what's the process that you go through as a taster to pick your favorite?
Well,
It's pretty easy, actually.
I think we do like 5 or 6 at a time, or maybe 10. I don't know. We'll go through, taste them, and then we'll take a break. We'll play Can Jam for about 20, 30 minutes. It's a Frisbee game you play to kind of reset things. Then we'll go back, taste through 10 more. And then kind of at the end of the day, we'll have our favorites. And then we'll go back the next day, retaste just to make sure that they cut the mustard or meet our expectations. And then that's pretty much where we get what we do.
Yeah, we try not to get
not too sophisticated,
too palate fatigued as well. Like I said, we do try to take breaks to make sure that we're not sitting there, running through a bunch of barrel proof whiskey. But today's gonna be a little bit exciting, a little bit different.
Yeah.
And folks, they will be spitting, so they will not be tasting all of these in their entirety. But also,
Joe wanted to haze us today. He's like, "Come in, we're gonna drink 15 samples, and if you don't, we're cutting your funding."
Whoa, Joe, you didn't do that, did you?
No.
Come on,
Totally
Joe.
messing.
All right, so you guys go ahead and get your nostrils in there and start your processes. Joe and I, Joe Beatrice from Barrell Bourbon, and I are going to be kind of talking about this.
Can y'all get along? Like off air, it's like Norton Kama's drama over here. You two are just like beefing about walks and.
I mean,
golf
well,
carts
I did find out that he's thinking about putting up an illegal fence. I'm going to be telling the HOA later because that's what you do in a neighborhood. You don't ever confront your neighbor. You go straight to the
board.
Yeah, or you get on Nextdoor and complain. So.
That's the easiest way to do it. Just being anonymous and being like, "Hey, Green Beaver over here. We're not very happy with our neighbors."
All right, so Joe, here we are. They're going to be tasting your products. They're going to pick their favorite today. What's your thought going into this? You a little nervous? You concerned here?
I think that we're going to have a great competition today. I think that they are in for a little bit of a surprise because we really mixed
Ryan
it
has
up.
taken his first spit.
That's really unique already.
Yeah, I was
at
like,
the gate.
At the gate, it's solid. I mean, it's just
Just like dried fruit bomb, just tons of nice little cinnamon heat, real light heat right there on the finish, waking me up after lunch, which was only a few pieces of meat. And
Starting
cheese.
strong.
Starting strong.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at their processes. You can tell as tasters, they both have different approaches. Kenny likes to come in just a little bit under his nose, while Ryan goes straight in there. How do you like to smell your whiskey?
I tend to put it in the nose first and spend a little bit of time there with each nostril.
Yeah.
Each nostril.
Now, Kenny's got a
Yeah,
very
try
unique
that.
technique. He's
How do
actually
you separate them?
touching.
Do you close one or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go like
you have to
that.
train for it. You have to be able to close one without using your hand.
Now, Kenny is a top lip sniffer, so he's making sure that the glass is
This
touching
is-
his top lip.
yeah, I love
This is very distracting.
yeah, very the top. Now
No, I
I'm
love it.
like, am I doing it wrong the entire time?
No.
Don't judge me.
I'll tell you what. I really love the nose and the taste.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this was just solid all around. I mean, there's nothing bad that you could say about it. I mean, this is tasted like a true, like, just barrel blend. Like, it was like a, gosh, if I had to really go back to a release, like gosh, did 22, 23 come out recently?
Yep,
Yeah, I
yep.
mean, that's what I equated to. I think it's a really good one.
Yeah, I got a lot of like wine or grape notes on it. Kind of little grapey stuff going on in there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
should also
very
mention
good.
that what we have in front of us is we have samples A through Q. So pray for us.
And you're on B now.
We're on B now. Yes, we're just now getting to B, which I love the nose of B.
Mhm.
Almost like a light honeydew kind of nose to it.
It translates to the palate too. It's got a lot of honey notes, some graham cracker, kind of little cinnamon there on the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more like one was like out the gate. Maybe it was because it was the first one, but it's like punch you, like get that grape kind of notes up front, but then it was like a real great dried fruit, spicy finish.
Yeah, B is a little bit different. Like, B doesn't have it's definitely a different character than what A is, because A, like I said, it felt more like one of those regular, like barrel bourbon blends that you'd see. B, I'm not 100% sure.
It's interesting watching this, being on the other side here as a commentator on someone's tasting, which is a weird way. It's a little weird in itself, but it's also fascinating to see their approaches because they're so different, the way they are approaching the glass, even
Are
how
they?
much
How so?
even how much that you all are putting on your tongue. Like, you can see, like, you can see that Kenny takes a little bit more in than Ryan does. It's just, there's no wrong answer here. It's just fascinating to see the different approaches.
I think he's taking the classic approach versus the sort of the experimental
I think
one.
that's right.
I think we're seeing that in this.
And if we go back to the Robert Parker, Paul Packel techniques from it started in the 1990s.
The 30s? Oh, the 90s.
Yeah.
right.
Robert, gosh. I was
Are you making up names as you go?
No, Paul Packel. It's one of the original spirits critics, and
Oh,
Robert Parker, of
sorry.
course, is
Forgive me,
like
my
that.
ignorance.
No, that's okay. So, all right. So now you're going into glass 3. Do you feel any effects of the previous 2 glasses as you're going into 3?
I mean, there's definitely 3 has more of the Tennessee pronounced into it. Versus, I mean, you could tell there's a little bit in A, but not as much. Like I said, letter A. What I liked about it, what I've liked about some of the recent the barrel bourbon releases is that that Tennessee note is there, but it's not so pronounced, and so it gives you just a little bit more that the flavor is there, but it's not in your face.
You do have an ability to like blend out some of those notes, that Flintstone vitamin note, that dehydrated orange note. What's your technique there? How are you doing that?
He's not gonna tell.
Well, first, there are a number of distilleries in Tennessee. That's
absolutely right.
You have to be aware of that. And
Bill Pritchard's got some stuff up on the market.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that if the question is about how we blend, we source from so many different places that we spend a lot of time with putting different blends together and experimenting to the point where we find something that we like. So there are some profiles that we tend to like, which tend to be the high fruity ones, a lot of the tropical notes. We tend to blend toward those, and so we just spend hours and hours and hours doing the blends. I mean, that there's no real big secret other than it's a lot of hard work and experimentation.
One note I almost never get in your stuff is banana. Do you make sure banana's not in there? Is that a note you don't like?
We're not. Every once in a while, we'll get a little bit of it, but it's not something that we really blend for that we like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
we've had a big change up from C to D. We've got a big change in taste going on right here.
I almost feel like it's a wine or like a Chardonnay finish or something like that.
Attaboy, Kenny.
Wow.
Attaboy. And looking at the note card here, Joe, I think we're in the hands of some good tasters.
Yeah,
I think it's impressive.
B and C they remind me of like the kind of 9 to 11 year Tennessee product. In a great balance. They're both pretty good balanced. But A was like a ton of dried fruits, and so far A has been my home run favorite so far. But we've only been through 3 of 15.
we got a little bit to go through.
But the speed at which you're going, it's good. You're going at a good speed.
It's not a Chardonnay, but
he's not
not
far
off.
off. He's not far off. I mean, he's I'll just say this.
It had just it almost had like a Chardonnay undertone or taste to it. I mean, that's just kind of what I pulled out of it.
Oh, anytime we do these tastings, Kenny, you always say I'm not like Fred or Ryan, but I don't think you ever give yourself enough credit. I think you have a really good palate.
Like me, why would you compare me? I'm not good.
You can pull up flavors. Like I can be like, yeah, I like it, or like I don't.
That
like
one's
it. But
it's that one to me just because it's all subjective, really. I mean, that one's kind of got more pear flavors, kind of pear notes. Not that it was finished in a Sauvignon Blanc or something, but it kind of has that pear type of citrusy flavor on it for me. I'm not sure what kind of finish that would be on it, but
I tell you what, you guys are tracking. I wouldn't spend too much time on trying to figure it out, but you're tracking, that's for sure. And I was just trying to brag on you, Kenny. That's all I was doing.
It's okay. I like it every once in a while.
Kenny's good.
I just need a good compliment to keep my.
Yeah, you don't.
Kenny's good. You just got to keep his tannins in check.
Yeah,
it's like because as soon as it hits tannins, it's you just got to be like, all right, pump the brakes on the tannins.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm there for.
That's where we kind of change on palate preferences there. But yeah, you guys definitely are a few glasses in. Is there a glass that you've tasted that you would definitely eliminate at this stage after tasting the other ones?
I'd say C.
Yeah, me too. C's just, I mean, it's like you're very good Bob's Basic Bourbon to me. Like it's good, but it's just kind of, it's a very well balanced kind of product.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reveal what C is.
Okay.
If you're okay with that.
Sure, go ahead.
This is labeled as Experimental 1. It's a 15-year-old special bourbon blend. 16 barrels of very small batch.
Wow. So I was totally wrong on that.
It's an experiment we're playing around with. We're at the very beginning of this particular project, so I just threw it in there as a change up for you just to see
where we're at.
Yeah. It was very balanced. Not that just the other ones are a little bit more unique. So, it's like when you're tasting all these, stuff that stands out sticks to
That's very good. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not there yet. So it's think of it as a component for something else.
Man, I get so much orange on this, like burnt orange kind of on this. What is this?
You're on E?
E, yeah. Just on the nose, like a smoky old fashioned or something.
Mm. Now, I've had this one, and I got to tell you that this is one of my favorite things that you put out in a long time. And I mean, you've had some great releases over the years, but this particular one that they're on now, which is Glass E, I think is not to try to influence you all, and I realize that might be how it comes off, but I think it's special.
Thank you. This was a very special blend for us.
Yeah, it's creamy, a lot of citrus notes, got a great spice, great viscosity. It's very good.
Mm-hmm. Concur all the way around.
One of the things I like about a blind tasting is that you are not influenced by anything. You're not influenced by the age that you see on there. You're not influenced by the brand. Well, we know what the brand is here.
Yeah, surprise, one of these are Weller Special Reserve, right?
No.
Just kidding.
But that's the beauty of a blind tasting is like you all have no idea what these are other than the fact that they're coming from Barrell.
You on F?
F, yep.
This is like rapid fire. I'm like, don't we got to make this less an hour?
We still got more to go here.
I know, that's true.
No, I like about F, maybe it's because we're 5 deep in it now, but it's not as shocking to the palate. Like I think you get a little bit more of the orange notes in it.
Getting like a brown sugar on the nose or some kind of burnt sugar.
It's good though. It's really good.
They seem to be holding up well about a third of the way through.
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, I think they could both pass the test right now if they had to.
This is like the Belmont will like really start fading towards the end. We'll like sprint out the gate for the first 2 turns,
and I'll say too that they've both gotten better over the years of tasting and talking about what they're tasting. Early on in their careers, they were more just kind of sitting back and sipping and didn't want to really, talk about what they're tasting. Now, which just comes so naturally to them. They've grown, Joe.
So it's a little bit adventurous then.
Yeah,
more adventurous than they were.
They're more adventurous. They're learning about cocktail techniques. They're learning about different spirits.
Learn from the best, you two.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they came up through the
we
farm.
had to up our
system.
game. We had to up our game. That's why.
Yeah, we just graduated from the minor leagues. Like,
Joe
we were in AAA. Now we're to AA or whatever. How it works.
Sometimes they just call them straight up from AA into the majors.
Man,
AAA is kind of.
I don't know, Kenny, on F, did you get like some? That reminded me of some like buttery notes and like like some brown sugar butter with some like a little bit of orange cobbler or something. Not orange cobbler because you don't eat orange cobbler, but like.
But that's why I said I didn't know
jam
if it was
with some
orange cobbler.
Like I said, I didn't know. I
know you don't eat orange
it.
cobbler, but
orange cobbler finished bourbon.
Yeah,
like I said, I didn't know if it was like if it wasn't palate shock of like okay, well maybe this one like isn't highest proof, but yeah, it definitely has like a buttery, creamier taste to it.
Yeah, I mean it's still got some proof. I mean it's hanging back there right now as we speak. A little spice tinge going on. So.
Keep the spice and tinges going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan's going for Glass G.
Yep, that's
Kenny's on Glass G too.
G's, man. The heart of this is going to get is like trying to figure out like are they finished or are they not finished?
Right.
And trying to like because some are so like if something's finished and something like you can tell like off the bat, right? But sometimes it could be a subtle finish because if it's just like Armagnac is a very close relative to whiskey and stuff like that. So an Armagnac cask finish might throw us off a little bit where you're not going to be able to pull that one out right away. Now, it gives a little bit of nuance of flavor to it, but when you're going through a bunch of them, it might not be an easy one to just pull out versus something that's like a rum or an apple brandy finished or anything like that, which you'll be a little like, okay, like a lot of these, those will pull out a lot of different flavors.
Also, this is like a MMA battle here because
it is
because it's not just bourbon.
Watch out for the rear naked
right.
chokehold here.
Yeah,
and also you got
tap out time.
You've also got a couple of them that have come out of retirement. They had successful careers and they're no longer on the shelf.
Man, this one is like bread pudding all day. Like it's got the raisins, got the creaminess, got the it's just bread pudding bourbon here.
Oh man, that's a great note. Now, Joe, when you are blending some of these, you heard Kenny kind of talk about like that finish, like he just knows, and the finishes kind of stand out. I have found that your finishes don't stand out as much as others. Are you trying to make sure that you can still taste the bourbon or the rye, and not just that secondary?
What are you on, H?
Well, what we attempt to do is to give you the full ride. We want it to be something that you experience from the very beginning, from the nose, the initial part, the middle, and the end. So we play around with that a little bit, and we like to leave you the long finish on many of our products, and so we like you to be able to taste it 30 or 40 seconds later as well.
This one's like green tea or like a citrusy kind of lemony tea type.
So after going back to G, like you can tell on the taste of G, like I feel like it was finishing something. I feel confident saying it was finished. Do you not?
I don't know. Let me go back.
Would you like me to answer that for you?
Sure, let's go ahead and
I don't know.
give a little
I don't
reveal
think
here.
so,
You don't think so? I kind of feel like it is.
but maybe.
Are you guys keeping it in the running, or is it?
Yeah,
still,
I really
still in
like
the-
it.
Okay. You know what? I'll tell you that.
Don't tell us till the end. Actually, keep
yeah.
going.
I won't tell you till the end, because here's the thing. As a taster, if you are focusing on what something is instead of the taste, then you are not paying attention to something. You're paying attention to, is this finished on something? And then that's all your mind is focused
and
on.
it doesn't really matter. It's really good.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's so focus on focus on the notes and what you like, and is that glass better than the other glass? Because here we're trying to like pick our favorite, and this is not. Everyone wants to think that this is easy, that you can sip whiskey all day and it's easy. But the fact of the matter is, it is really, really hard, especially when you have 3 glasses that are friggin' outstanding. How do you pick? You know, you have to pick, and if you're focused on it's a barrel finish, you know what? Categorically, your mind goes to like, you know what? I don't like barrel finish as much as I do straight. And so you pick the straight whiskey, that what you perceive to be a straight whiskey. Then you find out, oh shit, that wasn't even barrel finish. I was so focused on it being finished that I didn't actually give it its time on the palate. So just remember that. Try to be as blind as you possibly can and objective as you possibly can.
H is like everything I love about spring, summer. It's got like floral, honey, tea. Like, I don't know. It's like drinking
Wait till you try I then.
sweetened. It's like a sweet green tea or something. You know, like, I don't know. It's very good.
So Joe, I'm surprised to see H in this.
I actually
lineup.
actually pulled H back. It wasn't my favorite, but
Well, because
It's just-
to each their
he
own.
loves tannins and George T. Stagg.
That is
His.
that is not in this product at
Huh.
all. No, this
I'm
is
shocked that you put H in here.
well. I thought we'd mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not the original. It's
Oh, okay.
it's the finish.
Okay.
It's using those barrels.
So are you keeping H in, Ryan?
You know, I think it's good for me. It is so much different than everything we've had, but and that may be why I'm liking it. But I don't know. I think it's a good porch sipper. It's like summery to me. It's like light, got lemon, citrus going on.
if you think about H, you need to try I.
Okay.
I think I is more of your citrusy summer taste.
Well,
and
I was a
profile.
lot darker than H looking at it. So
Really?
They're about as different as you can get.
Yeah, I was like, are you sure?
Is there a night and day?
No, because because you can't read my chicken scratch.
And
Yeah.
I'll also say that a previous podcast
Okay, because that's
guest
my eye.
was on.
That's
there.
your eye. Got to re-pour eye. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, I think you got the wrong pour over there, buddy. Try re-pouring eye, because I think your H and I are backwards.
Folks, this happens sometimes in competitions.
where's H?
You will spot a glass that's different, and the taster
Actually, never mind. H
will
is-
request a
H is even-
re-pour.
Oh, okay, all right.
Penny's
You're right.
calling,
Maybe-
calling an audible here.
You know, right when I got to like H or J, I kind of
Joe, I don't know if this calls into question the entire competition.
no.
But,
I think we've been
Start over.
I think that's the only thing we can do. We must start from the beginning. Let's go for a ruling on this.
This reminds me of the spirits competition of '95 when we had the big controversy with Grand Marnier being entered as a vodka.
Where's your eye?
It was.
That's my eye.
Hold on, I'm hearing from New York.
Uh-oh. Are we doing
No,
a replay?
we're going forward. We're going forward with what we're planning to do right now. It's
Okay.
okay. Re-pour it, and it's okay.
No replay.
What do you mean my eye is H?
that's
Oh,
the
okay.
same thing.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. I'm gonna blame it on you because you poured it over.
I
there.
did that. So.
Okay.
There seemed to be something going on.
That was the
right
one I was
around
confused
that
on.
that
Yeah.
pour. Yeah.
How about we say this? Are those two, either one of those, going to be your whiskey? Is it your top whiskey? Either one of those?
Well, so what are we doing? Top three?
yeah. Is it either one of those potentially your top 3?
I've had 3 that we've had before that I like better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Even though I do like this one.
You know,
'Cause-
and here's the thing: is that like I am I am heavily trending towards these finished ones because they're so unique. I mean, that is just one of the things that like I really love about the new private release series is that these are whiskeys that you're just not gonna be able to find on the shelves every single day, and they're just so unique that, I mean, okay, yeah, they're not gonna fall in the realm of like bourbon on the shelf that, people are like, oh, American whiskey, blah, blah, blah. But like these are so unique that I
like all those
leave more for us than
like that private label or whatever you call the program.
Private release.
Private release, yes. Gosh, every one of those were outstanding. I mean,
just another layer of oak for our boy Kenny here.
Yep.
So if you all are okay and are not going to proceed with H and I going on, I'll tell you what they are, and we can have a conversation about that.
Yeah, I'd really like to know what H is.
So H is a tale of two islands. It's 18 years old, or at least that's the oldest. And then
No, I'm sorry, Fred. That's a private release. So it's an 8-year-old whiskey that's finished in the Tale of Two Islands barrels.
okay, understood.
Okay, so I liked H. I am not a fan of.
No, me either.
Okay, good.
I don't like
I
it
is
either.
I is a no. I is a no from me.
And then I is a single barrel private pick for our good friend Jamie Ferris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jamie. We love you.
I thought that whiskey was horrible.
It's really good. No, it's not horrible. It's just
that's the thing. It's
I mean, you got some home runs here.
I mean, we just
wait a minute.
literally,
Jamie
literally
is the
just,
barrel pick king of the United States.
and he's been on the podcast and we've
Oh.
talked about it before, and but I think it might be a difference of like going between like the rums and having this sort of sweet taste, and then going to a single barrel private select. It just, I mean, the flavor is just like so radically different.
Yeah, it's so unique. It's just
That's why you're in the big leagues.
well, we're AA, maybe AAA.
Yeah,
next year.
we'll see if the recruiters tap us in after this.
Work on my fastball. Ooh, nose on Jay is pretty good.
Yeah, it's like that's caramel all the way, isn't it?
Yeah, Jay's like could smell it all day. I'm starting to hit like the palate's like dialed in. You kind of get dialed in. It's like when you're playing golf, and you have like 4 to 6 beers, you can really like stroke it.
That's
But then when you go too far or too less, you really suck.
Yeah, just got to find that happy medium.
Yeah.
No, I think Jay's great. Call me crazy. It almost like has like a candy cane aftertaste or something, like peppermint. But there's like a brown butterscotch.
I didn't want to like bring this up, but this is Santa Claus's barrel pick. The candy cane, yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
From Holiday World's pick.
Do you like the concentration on this one?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get if it's a candy cane, it's like a fruity, a little bit fruitier candy cane. Like I can get the mint,
the rainbow swirl.
Yeah, like
the
a
rainbow swirl.
But there's a little bit of mint, but there's some like real strong like processed sugar fruits in there, like Skittle type.
Sounds
flavors.
like Jay might be a contender here.
Or it could be the gummy bear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or a
I
gummy
mean, that's
bear.
what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, you know how I feel about those.
I'm a
Oh, for God's sake!
I know,
we
like,
made it. We made it like almost halfway through an episode, and he didn't even bring it up.
yeah,
What?
I
I just
know.
like gummy bears.
Well, my daughter's a big fan of the Trolleys and the sour gummy worms. That's what she's
Mine
she's
love the
into.
Sour Patch Kids, but they're like too intense for me. I don't know.
No, warheads are intense.
Yeah, warheads are pretty intense.
It's been a while since I had a warhead though.
They all just make your teeth rot. So, whatever.
What doesn't though?
Bourbon,
I guess.
it's good for your teeth.
I guess if you use it as mouthwash and dipped it in your toothpaste beforehand. All right, so we're moving on to K.
I spent a lot of time in the cellars this weekend finding these products.
No, that's fantastic. Well, I mean, I'm just seeing like what you put out because they're not on the shelf.
No.
These are crazy. And it's unfortunate. I had to take a day off. So I take dry days.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
it's like
Let us have all the fun over here.
But I will say I am enjoying this commentary kind of thing. This is kind of fun.
it's like cream of wheat with a bunch of raisins and brown sugar in there. I don't know. It's like I really like that one.
Cream of wheat. I don't know how you pull out cream of wheat.
Maybe it's all the things he puts in the cream.
No, I'm saying like if you have like a bowl of cream of wheat, but you like really douse it with like some brown sugar and raisins.
Mhm.
That kind of, I don't know. My grandmother used to make it for me, and that brought me back to it.
I was about to say I've never had a bowl of cream of wheat before.
What about like grits or like oatmeal or anything?
Oh,
like
grits
that?
and oatmeal. Yeah. But
you get any of those kinds of flavors?
I'm a big fan of shrimp and grits in general.
I don't get shrimp and grits out of this.
Well, no, I'm just saying but I'm a big fan of shrimp and grits. I got my own quick shrimp and grits recipe that I go to with the jalapeno cheddar grits that I make. So
sounds great.
Yeah.
I try to give Blake a run for his money on Bourbon or Eats.
So let's
tough.
let's find a couple other glasses that you might want to eliminate at this stage. Since we've gone halfway through, because culling things out will help us talk about some of the products as we're going along.
I'm gonna try F again real quick. 'Cause I've pushed a few up and a few back just to.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how I'm trying to gauge this real quick.
I know it's like you have one, you're like, that's in there. And then you get another and you're like, no, that's in there. And then I'm
it's
forgetting.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'll pull F back.
So F is out for you?
I think it's good. But like I said, it's so tough to do this.
The F tastes like a finished product to me.
I don't think so. Like I said, for me, it's hard to go through these because when you have something that's a finished product that has like this like crazy different flavor, then you go taste a bourbon, you're like, well, I don't know if this is even good anymore, right? So
yeah, I don't know.
Are you ready for what F is? Is F out for you, bud?
Yeah, I'm gonna push it up.
yeah, I'll push it out too.
F is Rye 3. 4 years, 14 months.
See, the thing is, I love rye too.
I know.
Well, rye 3. The reason I think that you're having trouble with this is because, or with this particular one, is because rye 3 is 4.5 or 5 to 15 years old. So there's Indiana rye in here, there's Canadian rye, and there's some Polish rye. So it's a really complex set of flavors.
It's really
all working
fruity
together.
rye.
Yeah.
Like really tropical fruits. That's why I thought maybe there was some kind of finishing, but that's
You're getting the impact of the Canadian.
yeah. I'm back to the A League.
So you brought up
I'm not
Polish
gonna
rye.
I'm not gonna get to move up in the league next year.
Polish rye is not something you see a lot of in the market. So how did you come across that?
I got lucky on that one.
You got lucky on some Polish rye?
Yeah, we bought a lot of it a couple of years ago, and it's a very versatile product. It's 100% malted rye from Poland. That I had tasted different ryes from Poland early on, and they're really outstanding. They're just
Are they still aging or are they tanked?
No, they're still in the barrels. Got a couple over there, right over there.
Do you how does that labeling work?
It's rye whiskey, and we just put the source of distillation is Poland.
Okay.
Bigger question is, how do you go and you just like call up somebody in Poland? You're like, hey, I heard you got some extra rye.
Yeah.
I think that's
Hey, I'm Joe.
I know.
You got any rye?
I've met a lot of people.
I'm Joe
over my
Beatrice
lifetime.
with Barrell Bourbon. Do you have some rye?
yeah. I think that's a tough one to kind of go through because Ryan and I we rely on other people to tell us what's available, and then but never in our lives have we crossed a Polish rye. So it's kudos to you for being able to knock on those doors.
Many years ago, I met a producer from Poland who was really pretty amazing. He does a lot of vodka.
It's okay. Fred loves vodka.
I know how much you like.
Big fan. Yeah. Big fan. I'm coming back here to Ryan. Are you spitting? I'm not seeing a lot in the spitter over there.
No, I am. I don't take as much, I guess, when I'm I don't know. He's got
He does his baby sips. I try to get.
I'll do a baby sip, and then if I really like it, I'll go back for more. But most of the time, I can, after a little baby sip, I'm like, move forward, or maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
I very much like to get almost what you would usually do in like a regular, drink or whatever. Like I try to take as much as that in, but let it coat.
I tend to be in the camp of the baby sip.
Yeah.
And Tripp tends to be in the camp of the full on.
The big gulps.
Oh, I know Tripp likes. Tripp's kind of a full bottle taster.
I like the baby sip, and I'll kind of move it all around to see what I'm getting from it. Then I'll spit it out. But
it's interesting. I don't know if you know this, but like the technique you're using is kind of a French style. They don't do full on. They'll have just a little bit on there, and the all encompassing of the mouth is very German. So. A lot of these like tasting techniques and everything have been, studied and applied in a lot of these like old world cultures where drinking is a part of, celebrated in a true profession.
So it's like a spelling bee contest. You got to ask country of origin, tasting style.
What's your tasting style?
I think Fred's saying you're a couple of continental guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever see the movie Beer Fest where they're like going around and like they have this competition?
Das Boot.
Oh my God, that's so good.
I love M.
Mm-hmm.
M is, again, I feel like we're in the private release series over here with the M. And,
Yeah, there's something finished going on there.
and like I said, it's just one of those things, like you taste these things and you're just like, damn, they're so good.
Yeah, that one stands out to me.
And that's, like I said, for anybody that is, if you go out there and you see a bottle of the private release series, make sure you try a sample from whatever store you're at and just give it a go, because I think a lot of these things, like the private release series, I mean, a lot of these are just knockouts. Like I love the idea of having something that is super small, super unique. And it's a shame that these can't be done on a larger scale. You know, it'll be insanely tough to be able to do something like that. But I mean, that even makes it a little bit more special when you're able to do these kind of like really small blends of stuff.
Well, we're trying all kinds of different things all the time, all kinds of experiments, and it gives us it also informs other things that we do. So we will be migrating some of these into different products over time as we see what the response is to them. But this particular one is one that people tend to like a lot. They gravitate to this one.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fantastic.
This one in smells like Pursuit Series.
N's just got. N reminds me a little bit of an A, a little bit. Actually, probably more B. I'd say probably more.
Yeah,
B.
it's more ones of B or C.
Yeah, I think it has a little bit more of the pronounced Tennessee stuff, but solid blend, or maybe single barrel. Might be completely wrong, because the thing is I think a lot of the Tennessee stuff.
Oh wow!
As it gets older in age, those notes get muted more and more.
The palate kind of threw me off a little bit from the nose.
Are you on N right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nose is like all Tennessee. Then you go to taste it, and it's like, if it's I know it is, but it's something very unique. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
I think it's in line with a lot of other things. Like I said, I think it's solid.
Now, N, I think is a personal favorite of yours, Joe.
It is.
So what is it about this one that you really like?
Let's talk about ice balls versus ice cubes. It's all about physics, volume, and surface area. Did you know that an ice ball has 24% less surface area compared to the same volume of ice in a cube form? Well, less surface area exposed to warm liquid means a slower ice melt and less drink dilution without sacrificing any chilling power. And the coolest way to make ice balls is with a meltdown ice ball press. First, you take some ice in the provided silicone cups, you place this ice into meltdown and watch as the conduction from copper or aluminum melts the ice right in front of you. You can literally see the melted water cascade down the sides. And in a minute, you've got a perfect ice ball to put in your drink. Meltdown. It's the perfect solution to dilution pollution. You can use promo code PURSUIT to receive $100 off. So check it out now at meltdownice.com. Are you looking to improve your palate and create your own at-home tasting experience? Well, the folks at Aged & Or, they're back at it again, and now they're introducing a new innovative spirits flight on Kickstarter this month. Each glass has half-ounce pour indicators, and no scratch paper is required to identify the bourbons during this blind tasting. It's small profile and makes for easy to store in any home bar. Go and learn more right now and get signed up at spiritsflight.com. Are you a private barrel club looking for total control over your own label? Or perhaps a retailer wanting low minimums on a private label bourbon that sells? Or maybe you're just a business, an organization, or charity, and you're looking to make a statement with your own gift of a barrel pick. Indiana's own Krogman's makes it super easy. Make the pilgrimage to Bloomington, Indiana, where tucked away in the old Otis Elevator Factory, you can select your own barrel or barrels and discuss every detail of your bottle, from the label, the cap, and the closure, and create something truly unique. So stop putting stickers on picks and take your club to the next level. Go to krogmans.com. That's KROGMANS.com to learn more.
Now, N, I think is a personal favorite of yours, Joe.
It is.
So what is it about this one that you really like?
So this particular barrel is one of several that I've pulled out that I'm calling my playlist, and they're just barrels that spoke to me in a slightly different way. You know, our process is such that no single barrel is bottled or no batch is done that isn't really something that we think is pretty amazing. But these are, and it isn't to just, the intent was not to say these are better than the other ones. These are just ones that sort of caught my attention. And do you want me to tell you what this one is? So this is part of.
I think Ann is still in the running for them.
Then let me hold off on it.
Yeah, hold off on it.
But pretty good.
Yeah,
but
it's a good thing.
I knew about this glass being a favorite of yours. So I just wanted you to talk a little bit about it, and I revealed the whole, secret yet. But
oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. This is our first time doing this together, so there's bound to be some hiccups. So you guys are on.
I'm on O.
You're on O now.
I'm nosing it, and this is rye all the way.
Now this is actually, to me, this is a classic barrel.
This is classic.
This is a classic, a throwback even. Like this is before this building existed, before Joe had his truck. And,
Really?
And
oh shit!
And he still had to commute.
Maybe it's
Kentucky.
not. Maybe it's not right.
Had you hired Trip yet?
I don't know. I'm trying to reset
Yes,
my notes.
Trip and I started working together on batch 2, and ever since then. So
okay, so this was close.
Yeah, this one is one that's near to our heart.
This is throwback barrel, a Don Mattingly of sorts for your company.
Dude, that just moved to like number 1 or 2 spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is nothing wrong with that whiskey.
No,
There's.
You talking about O?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it has everything. That just hit all the check boxes.
yeah, it's creamy, dried fruit, spice, sugar, vanilla, everything going on. I mean, it's like that's money.
I remember my review well of this one, and this was the batch that turned me on to Barrel.
I mean, and not even before you even said anything, I was sitting there smelling it even before you said something. I looked over at Ryan and I gave him the eye, and I was like, dude, this one's good. And then you started talking about it, so now you just reaffirmed it.
Yeah, this one was a I don't want to give too much away, but there were 2 batches that we blended together at the same time, and we separated the barrels into high-low rec barrels, and so they're related, but they're totally different. So this is a nice. I think this is a nice part of a couplet.
And then moving on to P, this is rum. Not even a question.
Well, let's question it. Oh God, yeah. There's no question.
P is rum.
Yeah,
They're saying P is rum.
P is rum, or if it's rum finish, it's one or the other.
If you like,
there's something about rum in it.
Yeah.
This is the thing about a blind tasting is you just don't know.
We don't. Now we get towards the end, and you're like, these guys, maybe they don't know what they're talking about.
No,
all of a sudden.
You're exposing us.
You're 15 glasses in, boys. Come on now.
Hey, we did pretty good. We covered a lot in there.
You know what you didn't do?
35 minutes.
You didn't pick it up and taste it and say, "Oh man, this is a really good vodka." So
Yeah, every day is better when you're not drinking vodka.
every day.
All right, the taste is funky, funky.
Who loves the funk? Joe loves the funk. You like you some funk?
Or
I like the funk.
like I said, this is it's a super good funk though.
Yeah,
Oh gosh,
that's
I wish I could put a flavor on it.
rum. That's the flavor.
it's a rum flavor for sure.
Yeah, it's got like honey, kind of little licorice notes, like lime. I don't know. It's like
Licorice is
everything.
good.
Everything I think of like when I get a good rum cocktail, that's reminding me of it.
Are you all pushing this forward, or are you going to hold it back? Is this going to be in the top 3?
It's so hard because like I don't know. You
So
got
here's
some
the-
really
here's the
good
thing.
whiskeys out here.
Yeah,
and
so
it's like, do you push a rum in for a whiskey? I don't know.
I know. I kind of agree. I was like, I've probably got like 3 or 4 that I'm leaning towards, and in this because I mean we're looking at 15 right here, and they're all fantastic. But if I had to choose a favorite, it might not be this one, only because I'm trying to choose a whiskey based one.
Okay.
But that's why. And he's gonna say okay. And he's gonna totally screw us and be like, it's actually whiskey.
It was a Chardonnay one finished.
If you would like us to reveal,
I kind of want to hear the reveal.
Yeah, I love this so much that I want to hear what it is. So I'm going to push it out.
Joe?
just to hear
So
what it is.
this is one of our rum private release series.
All right, at least we're not idiots.
No,
Okay,
no.
all right.
And
We want to tell the difference between whiskey and rum.
Yeah.
and
right.
it is it's a blend of Barbados, Jamaican, and Martinique rum, and this is more Barbados forward in this percentage of blends, and it's finished in an Armagnac cask.
Oh, nice.
Doesn't that sound amazing?
Yeah, that's
I
those
mean,
are like two love languages combined.
Mhm.
You know, Barbados rum and Armagnac together.
I would, Joe, a question I have for you is when you're looking at the rum portfolio and the rums that you are sourcing, how are you determining the amount that goes into the blend? And then also between you and Fred, because I know Fred's more of a connoisseur on this side as well, is, when you're looking at Jamaican rum versus Barbados or whatever, like what are the flavor profile differences that you are finding between these different kinds of rums?
Well, the flavors are hugely different.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we do is we play around with different dominant percentages by country type. So when I say it's Barbados forward or more Barbados rum, we play around with different concentrations, different percentages of each of these rums until we find the combinations that we like. And then after that, we will play around with the finishes. So it's really a multi-step process, but it's all about teasing out the characteristics of each of the rums in the different countries so that you get them. Some are more Jamaican forward, which are you trying Q yet?
Wait,
All right,
we're sniffing right now.
They're like ignoring you now and just tasting.
No. We're listening.
listening.
We're listening.
But like, to your point, Jamaica has like this incredible, funk, it's the Jamaican funk. And, it's through their fermentation techniques. It's through their molasses. And Barbados, to me, Barbados doesn't as much have a style as it does a distillery in Foursquare that is just brings it, just incredible.
Man, I like.
pot and column blends.
Sorry, don't mean to interrupt. Q for me is
Better than P.
P,
Better than P.
and I know they're both in the rum category. I hope.
Yeah. If not,
If not,
we're
I'm
really bad at
I'm
those.
out of the minor leagues. Back to high school.
No, they're both rum.
Okay, good.
So
Yeah, Q's awesome.
Yeah, Q's great.
So the stylistic things in rum, I think one thing to point out is that what they do is they do blends of pot and column for a product. So in American whiskey, we know, column distillation or pot still distillation. But what they will do is that they will take the distillate of a column and blend it with a pot. And they'll do that, with the various percentages to impact their flavor profiles. And like every rum distiller in the Caribbean has a different kind of formula to get to where they are. But the ones that stand out the most are like Foursquare and Hampton in Jamaica. And so those will typically be really, both of those will have a lot of richness and a lot of complexity. And I do believe you got from you got from Hampton, and did you get from Foursquare too? Yeah. So boom, there you go. So you got the two best distilleries in the world in those products.
How about it?
Yep.
You can't. I mean, you can't really disagree with that because there's, like I said, Q. I love.
line.
Yeah,
Q,
me
Q is
too.
a fantastic.
You need to get with your rum broker after this.
Well, that's the thing. Richard Seal will, you got to go like several layers of approval before he'll let his rum get in your hands. It's kind of funny. Like he's like a rum god, and he's a bit of a curmudgeon and he's a protector of the rum world. And I love him, and his rum is amazing. And so like there are people who come to him and be like, I want to bottle your rum, and he's like, fuck you. I mean, he doesn't use that language.
He's like, cool story.
Yeah. He's like, nice. Go.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck with that one.
You have to pass the test.
Yeah, that's right. What was that like?
I can't really talk about that one.
You got to live in Norton Commons, apparently.
Mhm.
to-
Yeah, on the dog
so-
walk. On the dog walk.
Dog walks, golf carts, yelling at people.
I'm hitting a few more in the front row, just to make sure I can. I'm gonna push a few more up, a few more back, and then we'll kind of start doing some reveals here.
Yeah, congratulations on making it all the way through.
Yeah.
So
Not only did make it through, now we're doing a second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to go through.
three
3:30.
times.
3 times, so what's your theory and thought process behind 3 times? I know you said it a few times, but maybe all of our listeners don't know.
Okay, so my technique is that I taste 3 times on 3 different days before I give a score or a rating. And, to be honest with you, I haven't been doing a lot of that lately. I've been pushing most of my tasting techniques and stuff on YouTube, really kind of, and to be honest with you, out of survival with tastings. And we taste differently every single day. And what you eat, how you slept, it all will impact on how you taste and what you prefer. I mean, inevitably, there's a day that you want a cheeseburger and there's a day you want pizza. It's very similar in tasting. And some days my palate just is off and I can tell it right away. And so a good example of this would be the Wild Turkey Bottle in the Bomb. The first time I tasted it, I was like, this is good, but it's not really hitting me like I want it to. But the next 2 times I tasted it, I absolutely loved it. And so that's an example of you can never assess something based on one tasting. And that has also been proven by people who study genetics in Sweden. There's a study out that basically says that our genetics and our moods and everything will dictate how we taste.
Interesting. So not only you got country of origin, you got genetics when tasting.
So you have to get a 23andMe done.
That's right. Exactly. Ancestry.com.
It's a little different for me. My palate is much better in the morning. And I do limit how much I do taste, but morning is the best time, and at least 3 times go back to it. But it is a little different in that something's a no right away for me.
Yeah.
And it's a no and it's a no. And then
I think that's
here too.
That's obvious. I mean, if you smell like turpentine and, cow shit, you obviously, that's not going to change the next day. But the little finite things like graham cracker versus, honey and almonds, that's the kind of that level, can change day to day.
Down, dude.
Yeah, and also we let it rest, and you never know what's going to happen the next day. So because right now it's pretty dynamic when we're blending it. It's not a finished product.
God,
there's a sidebar over there.
Well,
I know
he's got his 3. I'm down to 5, and it's.
I'm trying to tell him just find 3 that you really like, and we'll go from there. I think that's probably the
That's a good idea.
I know, but I just...
But there's also one thing that I want to ask you all because, Joe, you said you taste better in the morning and stuff like that.
What about hungover? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I want to ask, because there's a lot of people out there and they're big coffee drinkers in the morning. Are you coffee drinkers, and does that affect anything?
That's a good question.
For me, I have 1 shot of espresso in the morning, but it's really, I have it at 6 in the morning. So then by the time
you need your jump start, is that what it is?
I get started. Then by the time I'm tasting it's several hours later. So, and I don't eat in the morning. So my palate is very clean.
That's true. I've had breakfast with him and it's very awkward because he's got a plate of nothing. But I think when it comes to what impacts your palate, people are like, people who smoke have bad palates. Jim Rutledge smoked. And I dare say there's not a better bourbon palate in the world than Jim Rutledge. He's an incredible palate. Larry Rice has commented that what balances his palate is espresso and cigarettes. So I think it depends on what you are tasting. If you are a wine taster, bourbon will kill your wine palate. If you are a water taster, which for God's sake, there actually are water sommeliers.
Oh boy,
thing? Water sommeliers?
Yeah,
they must be bored.
Yeah, people really taste that stuff.
That's okay.
You pretty much
there's a niche for everything.
There's a niche
Brian.
for everything.
That's why people are watching a bourbon podcast, right?
Very
because
true.
there's a niche for everything.
People love watching other people drink. I've learned that. It's weird, but I dig it.
I won't mix rum though. Rum has to be a unique day.
Yeah,
because you can't. I can't taste anything else after I drink rum.
I can pretty much cross over into other spirits. The one that seems to have the most effect on me is gin. When I have to do a gin tasting, and the reason why is because there's so much bad gin. There's these distillers that think that they can mask really shitty distillation with more juniper, and that kills me.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right. I think we've I've come up with almost my top three.
Now,
But
before
you
we get
are-
into the top
I
three,
got my 3.
are there any ones that you really want to know what they are?
I really want to know what H was. I don't think because you didn't end up revealing, did it?
I didn't.
I pulled it back. So
Or no, you did. That was
Yeah.
2 of Island.
That's two Tale of Islands.
Never mind.
Okay, was there another one that you really wanted to know? Is M on either one of yours?
No.
Nope, not me.
Okay, because you called that one as a finish. It is a pear brandy finish, and it's a total wine single barrel.
And the thing is like those. It was at the American whiskey release or
Yes.
I mean,
Private
private
release,
release. Yeah, I mean, it was like I said. All those are they're so good. They're so unique.
We
And
spent a long time with that selection. With those.
I'm hoping that did O make your cut?
It did for me.
It did for me.
Great. And did
Well, here, how about we just say what?
Yeah,
our
how
cut
about
do
we
it.
do it 1st?
Let's do it. Let's
Okay,
do it.
Ryan, you go first. What 3 made your cut?
I have A, D, and O.
Okay,
Okay, go
I
ahead.
have B, O, and Q.
Oh wow,
Oh, you went rum.
this is great.
I did. I went rum. I
Yeah.
need to give rum a little love here.
I know.
Okay.
So Q would be in my top 4 because I thought we were going bourbon, but Q would be right in there.
That's
with it.
great. And actually, you flipped on yourself because you said I'm going to be supporting bourbon here because supposed to be talking about bourbon. Then you flipped to
Yeah.
rum, so you must really like that rum.
Is yours, I tell
is
you
really
what.
good.
I mean, there's just something about rum that it's especially for like a hardcore bourbon drinker, whiskey drinker in general. Like you've got to change things up, and this gives you an opportunity to really explore. And when you're buying something, especially from a barrel product, you know that it's a meticulous time that it went into it, and you know what they really put into it, versus somebody that's just like putting out a single barrel or anything like that. And, I really feel that what Joe and the team here do actually put in a lot of effort into making sure that everything they put out is a home run.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And
Yeah.
all 15 of these were home runs.
So A was batch 9 of barrel bourbon, 13 years old, 112 proof, blend of straights.
See, that's why I felt this one was just a solid,
Yeah.
regular, not to say regular, but just a solid barrel blend. And
It's a
when-
classic. It's
when
a classic.
yeah, when you get above that like 10-year mark, as you think you had a lot of those good flavors in there.
Now, this is a notable. Where did you guys have G?
G.
Giga had pushed up.
I had that in like one that I liked, but I put it back because I liked these other 3. But it was one that I did. It was in my.
So, again, talking about how Joe like dipped into his cellar. This is the release that put Barrel of Bourbon on the map. This is batch 11 that won San Francisco World Spirits Competition,
Oh, there you
and
go.
otherwise known as the Marzipan Bomb.
When
Okay,
you taste a lot of these, it's hard to pull them out.
Right. I know. Yeah. I need some.
and
I'm shocked right
so
now. Palate.
do you wanna go give a Q? You wanna give the rest of them?
Well, hold on. Don't do Q because we've got everything. You've got A, C, D, E.
Oh, you want to go through them all?
You want to hear them all?
One, the
think
ones,
I
yeah,
do.
I think
Yeah.
the ones that didn't get selected, I think people want to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
just,
I think
mean,
so.
Not to say that they're bad. Like that's what everybody's saying. Like they're all fantastic. Like I mean, these are
There were some that I had 6 that I really liked, and I was trying to like go through and find tooth comb it to get to these 3. But
I'm literally like moving glasses up and down to try to figure out which I like.
It's tough.
It really is.
It's never easy picking your favorite.
I want to go through them all. But
So A was batch 9.
Mhm.
Talked about. B was batch 18.
Okay. B was one of my favorites right here. I love batch 18.
yeah,
C was a component experiment blend that we're playing around with. D.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yep.
Component experiment blend. That doesn't really give us much
sounds
Joe.
technical.
Yeah, that doesn't.
It's bourbon. Well, it's a work in progress. So we have a couple of these that we threw in here that are at any given time we have a dozen, 2 dozen different blends happening on components. So we just grabbed a couple of them just to throw you off a little bit and see what you thought.
All right, there we go.
It's something that we like. It's just not finished, just not completed yet. D is AH09, which is one of the private release series. This is the one that you said was Chardonnay.
I love D.
It's a Ratafia de Champagne. So finish. So it's a It's the
God,
champagne
that's where I got the
producers.
pear and all that. Yeah.
The champagne producers have leftover champagne that they turn into different styles of a liqueur. And so this was a finish for one of the whiskeys. This is one of my favorites.
Gosh,
I
I
really
love
love
D.
the way this works.
D was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that's something that you'll never taste
Yeah.
like on a regular basis. I mean,
It's
that
not
was
very common.
I mean, no, it's definitely not. I mean, a champagne finish. I mean, that's insane.
Liqueur, champagne liqueur.
Yeah.
E was batch 25. I'm a little fickle. It's one of my new favorites.
Yeah, I love 25.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've ever used any wheat in any of our bourbons. So there's a little bit of wheat bourbon in here, wheated bourbon.
Nice.
Interesting.
F was rye 3, which we revealed. G was batch 11, which we talked about. We also talked about H and I. J was the second experiment that we talked about a little bit with the bourbon. K.
What do you mean the second experiment we talked about? Did I miss?
I don't remember.
The first one was C.
Okay.
So we have two
I got
experimental blends.
Something that hadn't been out yet.
Maybe
Yeah, okay.
experiment's the wrong one. Yeah, it's a component of
It's
something.
a
that we're
component.
working on. Yeah.
Component experiment.
There
whatever.
we go. Okay.
Whatever you want to call it. K, reaching into the cellar was 7B.
Oh, good. That was like I said, it was a solid one.
7B was sort of this interesting blend that we released batch 7, which is a 5-year-old bourbon, and it's sold so fast that it was just mind-boggling. So about 3 months later, we went back to blend more of those barrels, and they weren't even close. They had changed so much, so we couldn't. We had to just make it a different. It wasn't a new batch on its own.
It wasn't 8.
So we came up with 7B on that one. L is batch 24.
Oh, I love these recent new batches too.
Yeah, which is a 9 to 15-year-old selection of barrels from 3 states. M is AH17, which is the private release finished in the pear brandy cask.
Nice.
N was S493, which is a single barrel. That's the one that I selected.
Man, I loved N. So I was N and O. I was torn between those two.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a solid one.
And O is batch 5.
Oh,
Really?
we both pulled that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
It's a high rye bourbon, and it was really a pretty spectacular. I think it was a spectacular bourbon. Those are the one we did 5 and 6 together. We blended them together. We separated them out in high lower barrels, and so this one is a little bit more in your face. The other one is a little bit more rounded, a little more balanced, not balanced, but just rounded, a little bit different. Then we're to the rums. B717, which is the Barbados forward rum with the Armagnac finish, and Q is J757, which is the Jamaican forward, but it's in a German ice wine finish.
There we
Man,
go.
Q was excellent.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. Ryan, if you had to pick one of your favorites, what would you go with?
Oh man.
I already know. I'm done. I'm on O.
You're on O?
I'm on O. I'm done. Like I think out of all these, I taste it, I smell it. It hits all the check boxes of everything a whiskey geek would love, and I think it just, like I said, it's an all around great whiskey for me.
Do you have any batch 5 left?
Yes, that was a bottle I just opened.
Yeah.
No shit,
Yeah.
Sherlock. But I mean, do you have any like?
Oh, no, unfortunately.
I love D. D is like, there's some just fruitiness there that like tropical fruit kind of notes or pear or something. There's just, I'm with you, Joe. I like the fruity flavors, and that's right there for me. Whereas O is like a fantastic, but it's more like rich, deep. D is like fruit bombs.
Oh, you mean
It's
like,
an amazing
You mean like tannins? You mean like tannins?
No.
a little bit?
Maybe.
I think it's a great compliment to the Kentucky whiskey. I think it just brings out, just makes it so much better.
Yeah, I agree. Well done. And I like A too. I'd probably go DAO for me.
18-year-old Kentucky whiskey. Was that distilled in Louisville?
Can't tell.
That one, I can't tell you.
Yeah, I know. They'd come down and crack your legs.
Yeah.
Crack your legs.
Yeah, I need my knees intact.
Yeah.
Joe, what was your favorite out of these?
I have to say that it's really hard because they're all here for a reason. But of this group, I really love Batch 25 right now.
It's so money.
Yeah, that's good. Batch 5 has always been one of my favorites. I stopped keeping that on our bar at home because I ran out of it. That was a great one. And I do love the Ratafia, the champagne finish. It's one of my favorites.
Me too.
Yeah, that one in the pear. I go back and forth on that.
Yeah.
And I'll say too, guys, that Barrell is a brand that's great competition whiskey because they come in at very good proofs. They're full of flavor and they don't have like one overarching bad note typically. And so you all got to experience a flight of all of them, and you could kind of see that playing out. And I think that the reason why they do so well in competition is because of that perfect combo of flavor and proof and not having a shitty note. So
Well, yeah.
That's what we aspire to.
Nobody wants a shitty note.
Yeah, really. Put an exclamation point on that one. I mean,
Yeah.
And for myself, I mean, I love what Barrell does because of what you just said. I mean, there is just so much variety and so much things that you can actually pull out of here. I mean, with 18-year-old whiskey, with rye, with rum, with everything. I mean, there's just so many combinations that you all are doing that provide anybody that can be a fan of just whiskey in general. Like, this is a good one-stop shop for a lot of great things that are coming out of here.
Yeah, it's awesome because you can bring a whiskey geek over and be like, I got something for you to try. And they try and they're like, oh, just because they got so much to offer you, like whatever flavor profile you're going to hit or want to hit, they got it.
Well, fellas, you did a great job. And as we close out, Joe, tell people, where they can find Barrell Bourbon.
Well, we're in about 5,000 locations at this point. If you go to our website and go to where to buy, you'll see it. Also, you can buy it online. But we're in about 46 states at this point, so we're trying to cross off and be in as many possible places as we can. Anyway, but thank you so much for your compliments. It's a really small, dedicated, hardworking team of people that put things together here.
Yep, good people. I've had many bourbons with them over the years, and it's always fun sipping bourbon with the Barrell boys. And
Absolutely.
they're fun. So as we close out, make sure you are following Bourbon Pursuit on all the social medias. Just look for Bourbon Pursuit. Give us a rating on Stitcher, Apple, however you listen to your podcast. It helps us with the algorithms. We're kind of dominated by the algorithm overlords in the podcasting business, and it helps us a lot to get the gospel of bourbon out there. But that'll do it for this week. Kenny, Ryan, good job, guys.
Well,
Way to
hopefully
go.
it didn't fail. Can we graduate to AA to single A or
I think we're going to give you a good look. We're going to give you a good look.
All right.
Yeah.
Talk.
Well, Paul's had the bullpen at some
I think
point.
I think you're in.
Awesome.
Great.
All right. So everybody, thanks for joining us. Be safe out there. Cheers.
Cheers.